Good afternoon, and thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Shaima Lavishi, and I'm an online marketeer at Trotec Laser Benelux. Our company is specialized in laser technology and offers solutions for cutting, engraving, and marking of various materials. Today's subject is how to earn money with a laser, and therefore we invited the colleagues Emiel Tiemesse and Yuri Rellens. Before we start, a short explanation about the structure of today's webinar. We'll share our knowledge and experience by using a presentation about how to earn money with a laser. Of course, you can also ask questions by writing them down in the chat. We will answer those questions as soon as possible. And if not, then at the end of the webinar, we have a Q&A session where we will answer all of your questions. Let's have a look on today's agenda. Of course, we will send all relevant links, including the recording of this session afterwards. Let's get started. Our guests of today are, like I mentioned before, are Emiel Tiemesse and Yuri Rellens. And Emiel Tiemesse is Sales Director at Trotec Laser Benelux. He's working for Trotec since 2011. He has got an engineering background and also a lot of experience in project sales. Then we have Yuri Rellens. He's an application specialist at Trotec Laser Benelux. He works for the company since 2013 and he visits a lot of various customers. He also provides training on to optimize the use of the laser system. So, welcome, Yuri, and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Emiel for joining this webinar.
Thank you, Shaima.
I will give the word to my colleague, Emiel.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, welcome to our webinar. I will start with a short introduction about our company, Trotec Laser. Trotec Laser is a world leader in the field of laser technology for marking, engraving, and cutting applications. Our headquarters is based in Marktrenk in Austria, where all our design, engineering, and production of our laser systems is. At this moment, we have around 750 employees working for Trotec around the globe. We have different subsidiaries in 17 countries at this moment, and we are supplying our machines and our services in 104 countries at the moment. Our goal is always to set new standards and make our customers more profitable. For today, we are looking into how to make money with a laser. Therefore, it's needed that I first explain you short what type of production machines we supply. You see in your screen on the left-hand side, you see our Speedy series of lasers. Our Speedies are the laser engravers with table sizes from 60 by 30 centimeters up to 1 meter and 60 centimeters deep. These are laser engravers, which are mainly used for engraving products, but they can also cut. Our larger platforms are named the SP series. These are mainly designed for laser cutting, but also with the laser cutters you can also engrave. So the SPs are the larger machines and the focus usually is more on cutting, but they can also be used for engraving. For marking applications, we have our Speed Marker range of machines, ranging from standalone units, desktop size, to large workstations, and they can also be supplied for inline integrations. Next to the machines we manufacture, we also have our range of consumables, mainly consisting of laminated plastics for engraving and cutting with a CO2 laser. Why would you use a laser to earn money? The laser is a universal tool which can be used on a wide range of materials for all the applications stated. Depending on the type of business you are having or going to start, you can use the laser for different applications. For example, we have customers who have dedicated laser job shops. That means that they have a shop specializing on engraving of products, so they supply the supply job is engraving products or type plates, data plates, etc. For example, you see here a product which is made by a customer of ours in the Netherlands who started in the attic of his house. These people are very creative in thinking of the right solutions getting the right solutions for the customer what they want, and they are also able to manufacture all these ideas by themselves with their laser. Other type of application is adding value to products already in your shop. Think of a gift shop who can instantly personalize your gifts with the desired text. For example, we see here a product, a cutting board and a knife engraved with a laser from a customer of ours in Amsterdam who have laser machines in their shop. The shop is mainly about cookingware, bakeware, etc. And they can personalize almost every product in the shop with engraving. They started in the past with one engraving machine, and once they started laser engraving, they've seen quite a lot of extra possibilities and see people coming in for the laser engraving into their shops. Even people from other shops coming in with the products to get them engraved on the laser. So at this moment, they are working with free lasers. And the number of products you can engrave with a laser are uncountable. Think also about bags, wallets, mirrors, jewelry, belts, cutting boards, bowls, knives, etc. Another type of application where you can earn money with a laser is, of course, saving on costs. For example, companies using a lot of data plates or type plates, panel labels, they often need large volumes with short delivery times. Then it often makes sense for them to produce them in-house instead of outsourcing it to external suppliers. For example, you see here a production of our own data plates for the machines, which also is, of course, a typical laser job of working on anodized aluminium. Let me short explain you how a laser works. Well, basically we are talking also always about three things. It's engraving, marking, or cutting. When laser engraving, the concentrated laser beam is focused onto the product you want to engrave. And what the laser does, it ablates the top layer of your product. On a laser laminate, we remove the top layer so you get a contrast. For the black-white, you remove the black and you see the white sheet who is behind to engrave text plates. But also when you engrave woods, you are removing material from the top of the plate, and also you get a contrast because the wood gets darker. Typical products created when using laser engraving are trophy plates, name badges, photo engraving, rubber stamps, promotional products, and computer-generated artworks. Many familiar materials are paper, cardboard, fabrics, acrylics, just to name a few. Laser cutting is a little bit different. With the laser cutting in plastics, for example, we concentrate the beam on the top surface of the material, and the laser melts itself through the material to get a nice clean cut. When you cut acrylics, for example, you get a very nice glass sharp cutting edge. In wood, the laser evaporates the material away, so you can almost say burn away through the wood to get it cut. Another application is laser marking. With laser marking, which is quite similar to engraving, but with marking we do not want to remove the top layer of the material. We just want to change the visual appearance of the material. Laser marking is very common in automotive industry, medical industry, etc., where you want a very good contrast and a very high marking speed without altering the material properties too much.
Thank you, Emil, for sharing your knowledge. Now I will give the word to my colleague Yuri. He will explain some more about how to earn money with a laser.
So thank you both. Let's first of all start what kind of materials can we work with. What we see now at your screen is like 3 different kind of groups of materials that you can edit with your laser. The first is the the wood, glass, paper, etc., which are the organic materials. Then we have the metals and the plastics. This is 3 groups of materials you can edit with your laser, which you can work with. As Trotec laser, we have 2 different kinds of laser sources. We have, on the one hand, the CO2 laser, and on the other hand, the fiber laser. Just a really rough description of those 2 is the CO2 can do anything except metals, and the fiber can do nothing except metals. Like I said, this is really broad distinction between the 2. As you can see, the fiber can also colorize plastics, or you can do with an extra marking paste, for example, mark solid on stainless steel. You can do it with a CO2 laser, like a coated metal, or anodized aluminum directly with a CO2 laser. And as you can see, you can also see the word flex in my beautiful sheet. And the word flex means that we have both laser sources in one machine. So you will have one machine that that you can work with all the materials that you would like and that you can see on this list. This list is not an exclusive list. There are way more materials we can process. And there's a link if you want to have a better source. You can see the link in your screen right now. Well, with these kind of materials, we can make multiple applications. Basically, what you could say is that the possibilities are endless. Your own creativity is the limit, because the Trotec laser is an easy to use, an incredible, precise and fast machine, and it will do exactly the same, exactly what you tell it, every time and any time. As you can see here, we have 6 groups of materials or of applications, basically. Engraving glass, making gift cards, making name badges, engraving picture frames, making signs, engraving bottles. Like I said, the possibilities are endless. But what are your customers looking for? Because the possibilities are endless and you can do a lot with the laser, it's very difficult to tell you this is what your customer needs. This product is what your customer needs. So we're not going to do that. What we're going to do, what we can do, is tell you what are the broad things customers are looking for. And in our experience, these 3 points are the most important ones. High consistent quality, so every product should have a high quality engraving, should look good. Personalized products, because nowadays well, you can have a mass-produced product and then have your name on it, and it's personalized, and people want that, are looking for that. And of course, the world is going faster and faster these days, so fast delivery in high volumes is really important. I'm going to show you 3 applications with their return of investment. So we're going to explain to you what kind of cost you can expect. We're going to explain to you how you can calculate the price you need. And every time you're going to do this, you need to keep in mind the cost of your material, other costs like electricity, hourly wage, and maintenance. A really important one that a lot of people tend to forget is the time it takes you to make the product. Think about bulk discounts, not only for your customer, think about yourself. If you buy your material, think about bulk discounts. Buy in big, get a better price. And of course, the revenue and the wanted profit per piece, or better, profit per hour. Think about this and realize, don't be shy to charge for the quality you offer, just like it says on the sheet here. Because as a Trotec laser owner, the sales price is not the only way to compete and be the better offer. You can compete in speed, in quality, and consistency. And as we have seen before, those are the 3 important points for your customer. Just a little disclaimer about the applications we will show. To calculate the cost, to calculate the pricing, we have used a different machines to get an average. For example, the amount chosen that we will show for the bulk production is based on a 600 by 300 machine. However, the time is an estimation based on the Speedy 360, which is a larger and faster machine, without optimizing drawings and designs. Why did we do that? Because we don't want to give you a precise calculation. We want to give you a broad overview. And the best way to do that, in our opinion, is to use different machines and different aspects. The costs that we are going to mention include the estimated operating cost of around 35 euros an hour. This includes electricity, hourly wage, maintenance, and the material costs are based on the list pricing of Trotec laser materials in the Benelux as of the 21st of April. And the sales prices that we will give are based on Google searches for similar products. So again, it's an average, it's a broad overview just to help you think about this. So let's go to the first application. The first application is all-time favorite. It's a nameplate for on your house. This product is not applicable for bulk production because nobody is going to order 200 nameplates for their house. They're going to order one. However, you can make your design beforehand. As you can see in the picture, these are basically the same signs, but with different names, different numbers, which is quite easy to do. So let's go to the return of investment of this specific application. The single piece was around 19 by 14 centimeters in size. The time it took to engrave and cut one sheet, one little plate, is 7 minutes. The cost of the material, including the hourly wage, etc., is around 8.75 euros. And if you look it up on the internet, you will see prices ranging from 35 to 45 euros. So your profit per piece would be 26.25 euro. If you calculate this back by profit per hour, it should be around 2.25. And we will see that this is a number that we will see more often. So around the 200, 300 euros per hour profit it's not strange for a Trotec laser. So the second, the previous one was an example for a company that makes their own products with their laser. So their laser is their main tool. Now we're going to show an example of the added value category that my colleague Emil was talking about. And this is basically a common product, a hip flask. And common products, if you engrave that, it adds a lot of extra value. These products for business-to-business applications is mostly bulk production. If you sell this to the consumer, it's going to be lower numbers. It's going to be individual consumers, individual single piece production, or low series production. And as you can see, you can easily make a mold or out of carton for this. So to the ROI, the size of the hip flasks is around 125 by 85 millimeters. The time to engrave the full hip flask is only 4 minutes. It will cost you, again, including the maintenance cost and the hourly wage, around 13.14 euros. And the expected sales price is 22.95, including a name. So you're going to make a profit per piece of around 10 euros, 9.86 euros. However, now we're going to look at bulk production, because bulk production, that's the way to earn larger amounts of money, so to say. The bulk production, can I go back? Okay, sorry for that. Like I said, we based our bulk production on a size bed of 600 by 300 millimeters. In this amount of size, you can place 12 hip flasks. To engrave all 12 of them, it will only cost you 20 minutes. With the same settings, same engraving parameters, it will only cost you 20 minutes for 12 pieces. The cost is, of course, around 132.67 cents. You will get give a bulk discount to your customer of around 20%. It's a bit much, of course, and you will see a profit per hour of 226.96 euros, which is really specific. But again, we are between the 200 euros and the 300 euros range of profit per hour, which is, I think it's a very reasonable range. So keep that in mind if you calculate your own pricing. And of course, if you want to buy the materials that we just shown, check out our web shop on trotecmaterials.com. And then the third category my colleague Emil was talking about was companies that use their laser to save money. And the application he showed is the same as I'm going to show you here. It's the data plates, the type plates for machines. It's especially useful for companies that make a lot of machines, because every type plate, every data plate has its own data on there. So the purchasing price, because of every data plate is different, is relatively high. If you buy them from a third party, it's relatively high because it's different. They will charge you for every piece is different. So if you do it yourself, then I'll show you the ROI. It's not about making money, it's about saving money. So it's a little bit different of calculation, and mostly these kinds of calculations are done before the machine is bought. So for this specific application, we had a size of 70 by 50 millimeters for one little data plate. The bulk purchasing price on the internet was around $295. However, if you start to produce it yourself, you can place 40 data sheets in a sheet of 600 by 300 millimeters. It will take you 19 minutes to engrave them. And it will cost you around €31.95 for the amount of time, for the material, for the hourly wage, etc. So if you divide that by 40, you will see that it will cost you per piece only 78 cents, which is a saving of more than €2 per data sheet, per data plate, which is huge. However, in our experience, that's not the biggest benefit for these kinds of customers. For these kinds of customers, the biggest benefits are the saving in delivery time, the quality control, because you see every data plate before it's on your machine, and your flexibility in data correction. And that's what we receive as a feedback from our customers, which is more important for them. I hope you enjoyed this little overview of ROIs and how to calculate. Please leave your questions about this in the chat, and I will give it back to my colleague Emil, and he will tell you a little bit more about what to look for in a machine, what to think about with a machine.
Thank you, Juri. Yes, what to look for in a laser machine. Well, one of the most talked about thing is the bed size of the machine. What products are you going to engrave? What are you engraving is, of course, the most basic question about to answer when you want to choose the bed size of your machine. What is the biggest thing you've thought of to engrave so far? For example, if you are an engraving shop, you can't predict what the largest product will be that easy, because people are coming in with products to be engraved, etc. But if you are producing data plates, you have quite a good view on the volume to be produced and the time you have for it. So then it is quite easy to answer which bed size you need. But in general, for general purpose engravers, a larger machine is beneficial, because on the larger platforms you can also engrave higher products. For example, in a Speedy 100 you can engrave up to around 17 centimeters high products, and in a Speedy 400 you are around 30 centimeters. So the larger your machine gets, the larger the bed size is, the more flexible you are in your production. Another important thing to take into account is the laser power you are choosing. For many engraving jobs, a light laser can do the job. But if you have a lot of work to do, then a light laser will take you quite a long time to get your job finished. So a more powerful laser will give more production speed, and more production speed in the end effect makes it possible to get more work out of one laser in one day. So that you can see that back in your earnings, of course. You can do more work in the same time. And also for laser cutting, laser power is very important. When you have a stronger laser, you can cut thicker materials, or you can cut faster in the same thickness of materials. In general, we use the rule of thumb that you need about 10 watts of laser power for the cutting of 1 millimeter of material. So for example, if you want to cut 6 millimeters of wood, you will need a laser around 60 watts laser power. The same goes for acrylics, where the rule of thumb is the same. But if you have more laser power, you can achieve the same cutting quality in a shorter time. So then again, more laser power gives you more production without losing quality. And of course, the durability of a system is something to be taken into account. Our goal is to make our customers more profitable. That also is seen back in the design of the machines. Durability is designed into a machines. Low operating costs with a high lifetime is something which you can see back in durability of your machine. And you can also see that in the warranties we offer. All our Trotec systems are offered with a 2-year warranty on all parts and labor. And we can even go up to 10 years warranty through our TroCare plan. And the applications you are going to offer also leads to the advice what type of laser you want to use. If your job is working in wood, then the CO2 laser would be the obvious choice. If you are marking on metals, for example, medical devices, then a fiber laser would be the right choice. If you have an engraving shop, then people can come in with different types of applications. Then you might need both lasers, and that we also can offer in our Speedy Flex systems, where both laser sources are mounted onto the same platform. Excuse me. When you look into accessories of your laser, depending on the applications, you have, of course, different accessories you can use to improve your productivity or your results or the possibilities you can offer. For example, in our Speedy series, we can offer different table types. Flat engraving tables, honeycomb for cutting on paper and plastics. We can offer on the larger Speedies also grid tables, lamella tables, so you can always optimize your machine for the application you are doing. But also think about if you want to engrave bottles and glasses, etc., you will need a rotary engraving device which we can supply. If you have a print shop and you want to cut as well with the laser, a camera mounted next to the laser head might be very beneficial to speed up your production time, because you can save time on the right positioning. The software will do it for you. And also with accessories is, of course, the type of exhaust system you're going to use. That also is something we can advise in depending on your applications and your location. For example, wood cutting creates quite a lot of dust and smoke. You can exhaust it sometimes to the surroundings of your building without filtering, but not always. But then we have the right filtering solution available, so we can advise you in what to use and what gives the best results on your products. What to look for in a laser machine? Quality. Quality is often stated, but what is quality? Quality is not a coincidence. It is something we want to achieve to guarantee you a long lifetime of your machine. And a high quality machine is also guarantees you that you can always produce the quality of product you need to have for your customers. Think also of the usability of your system. How easily can I use my system? Does it have a good way of focusing? For example, our Speedies are supplied with sonar technology, so you can very accurately focus your laser with the touch of a button on your machine. It's very easy. The camera I already stated. Our laser software, which is very intuitive to use. We even have an app for your iPhone, so you can see how much time the laser needs to finish its job, etc., etc. Think of the support we can supply as a supplier of your system. We have a complete parameter book which is installed into our software. With most applications, the right settings are already installed on your computer with the laser. Very many other settings are stored onto our website, so if you have a material which is not in your database, you usually can download it from our website. If it's a real strange material, you can give us a ring and we can help you. We have our own application specialist available. For example, in the Benelux, when you call us, mostly Yuri can help you out with the right settings as an application specialist. We have a lot of do-it-yourself application training on our website. We can supply individual trainings. We have our Trotec Academy with one-to-one paid trainings. uncountable things. And of course, we have our own range of materials designed for our lasers and designed to be as easily workable as possible. Check out also our website where you can find all these materials. And we have all the settings for the laser also standard available onto our website to use. And of course, we have a very broad support for technical support in the field. Okay, that was what I wanted to share with you. Let's get back to Shaima.
Yes, thank you, Emil, and thank you, Yuri, for sharing the most important things about this topic. We receive a question I see here from Andy Vermeijen. It's for Yuri. Hey, Yuri, how to calculate a price when your customer give the material? In the meantime, oh, excuse me, but in the meantime, you still can write the questions down in the chat, and then we will answer those.
Well, first of all, thank you, Andy, for sending this question. It's a good question. How to calculate the price when your customer delivers the material. So basically what you're asking me, if a customer has, for example, you gave it the example in the chat as well, a letter, and you need to cut or engrave this. How to calculate the price? Well, if we look back at the sheets a little bit, we are not going to do it, but we would have a profit of between the 200 and the 300 euro range. Keep that in mind. Keep the 200 and 300 euros per hour. Keep that in your mind. So if you calculate and you're going to be an hour busy with the material, calculate around 200 euros for that, because it's going to be expensive for you to make it, and you're going to be the fastest, you're going to be the best in quality because your machine can do it. So don't be afraid to ask the price, and if it's too high, the customer will let you know, and you can always, well, give him a discount or talk about bulk production, because bulk production is always more profitable also for the guy with the laser and the end customer himself. So yeah, that's basically how you calculate the price. Get in your mind, what do you want to earn with your machine? What do you need to earn with your machine in order to get profitable as a company? And I think that's the most important part. Do not be afraid. And a lot of people are afraid to ask pricing, and that they want to only compete on price. And I hope the message has been clear. Of course, price is important, but there are a lot of other things to think about, like speed, like quality, consistency. Try to compete on that. So yeah, I would say try to give in your mind what do you want to earn per hour, and calculate based on the application how much you're going to charge for the material. And do not forget to charge for a design. If the customer wants you to design something, do not forget to charge for the design as well.
I would like to add something to that. You should also take into account that if your customer is coming in with one-off product, you need to be very confident in your laser to get the right result. So if you want to offer this type of jobs, so people coming in with their materials to engrave them, you must be really confident in your laser. So that's makes it very necessary for you to have a good quality laser where you can depend on, so you don't have the nasty surprises that your engraving is not the result the customer is expecting.
Yeah, very good point, Emil. Very good point.
Thank you for answering this question. We have another question. This question is for Emil. The question is as follows, and is by Jan Paul Harteman. Why is there such a big difference in CO2 lasers?
Well, that's a very good question. Thank you, Jan Paul. The answer is actually quite simple. We can talk a long time about it, but the answer is quite easy. It's all about technology. What technology is in your laser? The market is quite broad at the moment. We see cheap import systems from Asia. You see high-end machines from Europe, and everything in between. And The main differences are the build quality of the machine itself. Think about the motion system, think about the quality of electronics, the quality of software, of course, the usability, the longevity of the components used, the amount of maintenance needed to keep it running, where are huge differences in, and of course the main product, the name giver of the system, the laser source itself. In the entry level, you see the glass tube lasers, which are not comparable in terms of controllability, engraving quality, durability, compared to our ceramic resonator lasers. So it really depends on the application. What are you going to do? What are your demands for the laser? Which machine will give you the right service? We also can offer under our Rayjet brand entry-level lasers, which are very good lasers, but for different jobs than people who need a speedy laser, for example. But the price difference are mainly in technology.
Yeah, really well put, Emil. I would like to add something to that. As Emil told you, it's in the technology, and what represents the technology, it's the speed and the quality and the consistency. So the three main points we talked about before that your customer is looking for, like for quality, consistency, and speed. And the better the technology, the better you can fulfill those kind of demands. So yeah, and that technology is more expensive to make, to build. So I think that was the good the final say for me. Sorry.
Thank you for answering the question. We have another question. This question is also for Emil. What are your thoughts on the cheaper Chinese machines on offer?
What are my thoughts on them? That's a good question. In fact, the answer is quite comparable to the answer I gave to Jan-Paul Hateman. It really depends on what are you expecting from a laser. If you just want to have a little bit of fun with a machine, the cheaper Chinese machine can be the right one for you. But if you need a tool to earn your money with, so the laser as a tool is the backbone of your company, then you probably would require a machine who can give more output, more predictable output, which has a longer lifetime, and in the end effect, lower operating costs. And in my experience in the last 10 years in laser technology is that the investment of the laser itself, so the cost price of the laser, is by far the smallest cost in running a laser, running an engraving company. So you're better on the safe side with a dependable machine than starting cheap and get rubbish out. But there are applications where the cheap system also will do its job, but maybe not for the time you can do it with a proper machine.
Yeah, and again, in this question, of course, it mentioned, like my colleague Emil mentioned, the speed, quality, consistency. Again, those three factors are really, really important also for the price you can charge your customer, right? So if you want to have a higher profit and you want to have a higher price on your product than your neighbor, you need to deliver either faster or better, right? So yeah. I think that's also a really good thing to keep in your mind. Cheap doesn't always mean better. Well, most of the time it doesn't mean better.
Yes, thank you. We have a next question. I think this question is also for Emil. The question is as follows. We process 2x1 meter polyethylene foam sheets. Do you have a machine that could cut / engrave this material and sheet size? I think he means at sheet size.
Yes, we have. 2 meters long, 1 meter wide. The closest machine with that size is our SP2000 with a working bed of 2 meter 50 long and 1 meter 68 wide. So yes, we have the proper machine available. with the SP, you can cut and engrave the material. That's no problem at all. The thickness of the foam is interesting to give the right machine advice, but that is something you can work out with my colleagues in your country, I think. And otherwise, I'll be happy to help you.
Thank you for answering. We have another question for Emil by Nick Clark. I teach at an art and design college in the UK, and we use Apple Macs and Adobe Illustrator with our student. Is there software being developed to be used with Mac?
With our current software, Job Control for the Speedies, we don't support Mac computers. But what we can offer, which is very popular in the Benelux, is our software UniDrive. UniDrive runs on a Windows computer, which is connected to the laser, and it has a network possibility. So all your students or designers or everybody who is in your network can just drop their PDF file into a hot folder. The hot folder is connected to the material settings, and the job is automatically converted from PDF or DXF to a laser file and put in the job list of the laser software. So then you basically do not have to use the Windows computer at all. You just have to have it running next to the laser, and all your design work can be done from the Mac. That's the status at this moment. We are not developing a Mac driver for Job Control at the moment.
However, may I add something about the beta test we're doing right now? Because we are coming. Just keep a look at your email address. Keep a look at all the emails my colleagues are sending you. We are coming for this. There is a solution coming.
Yes, and it's a very good solution.
Yeah, it's an awesome solution.
Yes.
Thank you. We have another question for Emil. Can you give an overview on which machine would you recommend for different businesses? For example, personalized shops with different products versus companies that produce the same products in quantity.
Yes, of course. If you're starting an engraving job shop, you have to put a clear focus for yourself on which type of customer do you want to attract. Do you only want to do industrial engraving? Then the machine advice would be completely different than if you want an engraving shop for gift engraving. But usually a Speedy 100 or 300 is a very nice machine to start with. And then we can advise you on which laser source you need, laser power, and of course CO2 laser, fiber laser. There is a big difference, of course, in am I a volume producer, like you state, companies that produce in quantities, or am I a company who does one-offs? As you can see also in Yuri's calculations, a one-off product needs a higher retail price. So also you need to be able to justify that higher retail price with good quality, etc., etc. So then the entry-level Speedies would be the right ones. But if you want to be able to produce or engrave very large products, you will need a large machine, but that also is then capable of making large volumes. So it really depends on your personal situation. What am I going to do? And where I'm going to offer my services, that brings the right solution for the laser. And my colleagues can help you with that.
Thank you, Emil. Are there still any questions? Don't hesitate to write them down in the chat.
I have a question. Mel T, could you please reply whether my answer is clear to you, or do we need to explain a little bit more? Maybe Yuri can add something to what I said.
Well, I think you said it all. There is no universal answer. I think that's the best answer you could give. There is no universal answer. It depends on what you need, and most likely we will have a good fitting machine. People will say I'm arrogant when I say we have the perfect fit. I do believe we have the perfect fit machine for almost any case, in almost any case. But But I think you answered it pretty good. There is no universal answer.
When I get back to Mel, we have gift shops in the Netherlands who work with a Speedy 100 and are perfectly happy with it and can do whatever they want to do and whatever the standard products they offer. But we also know from shops, from the guy with the cookware shop who started with a very small traditional engraver, purchased the Speedy 400 as a second laser, which is Speedy 400 is quite a large machine. And at this moment they are running 3 lasers, 2 Speedy 400s and 1 Speedy 300. Usually we see that people start with a small Speedy, and when their business is developing, they are growing rapidly into the larger machines with larger bed sizes and higher laser powers to be able to get the production at speed, to keep it in pace with the demand for the products.
Thank you, Emil, for answering. Let's see if there are any questions. Are there still some questions? You can ask them. I don't see any questions coming in. So Yuri and Emil, thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience about this topic.
Yeah, thank you for moderating. Thank you all for watching. And of course, subscribe and like.
Yes.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll all learn something today. And of course, we will make sure you receive the recording afterwards. And indeed, don't forget to follow us on social media for more news, tips, tricks, tutorials, and so on. If you do have some questions afterwards, you always can contact us. Thank you so much for joining, and hopefully until the next webinar, and have a lovely day.